Henry Repeating Arms makes some of the most high quality lever action guns on the market, and all the way from the 22 long rifle up to the 45-70, which I recently reviewed. Just an excellent caliber and firearm, and the caliber that did win the West. And so one of the other really great calibers that Henry produces is the 30-30, which is world-renowned for a white-tailed deer hunter, especially under 200 yards. The 30-30 has been around since 1894, put into production in 1895. Now, when Marlin developed their lever-action rifle, they didn't want to call it the 30 Winchester for obvious reasons, and also all the ammunition companies that were developing that same round. And so they came up with the 30-30. It's a 30 caliber bullet with 30 grains of powder that was originally designed. Of course, that's changed since then. And in its day, it was comparable to the modern day semi-automatic rifle. Very quick to reload, very fast follow-up shots. You were able to carry 5 or 6 rounds in the tube, in a tubular magazine. And it's the same as today. I mean, this gun is quick and it's fast to deploy. Plus, the action is smooth as butter. And the great thing about it is, the more you use it, the smoother it gets. So today we have one of the Henry Arms 30-30s. The wood on this rifle, it's American walnut. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, the grain on this wood, the checkering is just fantastic. It's just a really beautifully finished firearm. The bluing on this rifle is exceptional as well. Of course, first thing we're gonna do is make sure the gun isn't loaded, and it is. Nothing in the tube, as you can see. Benjamin Tyler Henry, the founder of Henry Rifles, in 1860 developed the very first lever action rifle. And this really changed the tone of the Civil War. I mean, there weren't a lot that were put into the field, but being able to shoot multiple rounds really quickly rather than having to load it like a musket, it really made a big difference and a far superior option than the Sharps. So the Henry rifle definitely has a huge place in history. And now that Anthony Imperato owns and has really taken Henry to the next level. Now with the 20-inch barrel and the 39-inch overall length, it's a really handy rifle. Very easy, very well balanced, great to get on target very quickly. And whether you go with optics or not, this ghost ring sight is fantastic. Being able to get right on whatever your target is very quickly and to be able to get that shot off. A little bit better close-up of the XS Ghost sights. These are really high quality sights. They can be changed for windage. And then there's a front blade right here to be able to see. It's really clear. It is excellent for close-up shots and being able to get right on target fast. One of the things about these sights, though, is you're not going to get super tight accuracy because of the nature of the aperture here, but you still can get really decent accuracy with this rifle, even without an optic. Shooting at 100 yards with the ghost ring sights, this was the first group. My second group here, still shooting over to the right. I didn't have my screwdriver to be able to adjust the sight over. The elevation was right, just the windage. And that's with just iron peep sights. You put a scope on this, it'll really tighten this up. As you can see, it's already drilled and tapped even under the rear sight here for a scope mount, and then you can mount whatever optic you want. The front sight is really substantial, and it is built into this barrel band. It's just one solid piece, but you can see the bluing is just excellent on this rifle. The checkering, again, just really well done. It's a matte finish here on the side and top. But the finish on the rifle is really good. I mean, there's just no question about that. Here, caliber 30-30 Winchester, Henry Repeating Arms, Rice Lake, Wisconsin. Made in the USA. Okay, it has a nice rubberized butt pad with the Henry logo across the bottom. You do have your sling swivel here on the butt of the rifle and right here at the cap of the forearm. Now with the sling attachment points, it's not going to be that difficult to find a good sling. I have one of the brass stacker slings that goes around the butt here of the rifle and then attaches right here. It's a really nice, very comfortable sling system. And this harness on the back, it really makes this gun look great. The quality that goes into this, and to me it matches the quality of the 30-30 rifle, especially the Henry Arms with this beautiful wood and this beautiful finish. Now, one of the reasons why the 30-30 has been so popular is the recoil. It has a fairly soft recoil. In fact, it's just over a 10.6 pound push from the recoil. When you get to a 30-06, which is a very popular hunting round as well, It's about double that. It's about 20 pounds of recoil. So that's one of the reasons why that the 30-30 has always been so popular, is because of the light recoil, being handy, being typically a lighter rifle, and something that you can carry. Again, the 30-06 will get way out to distance, way farther than the 30-30. But for a 200 range, I think the 30-30 is going to serve you very well. But it is an excellent white-tailed deer and black bear caliber for hunting. Now, as stated on the website, the capacity in the tube is 5 plus 1 in the chamber, but it actually holds 6 rounds. Now, the Henry has a different loading system than the Winchester or the Marlin. It is tube fed, but you load up here in the tube, right here in this little slot. And loading is easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. That's what Henry purports the capacity is on this rifle. But number 6 drops right in. Bring in your brass loading tube. Bring it down. Clip it right into place. I have 6 rounds in here. Now, it doesn't have the loading port on the side since you are loading it in the tube. Some people aren't going to like that. They're going to want to be able to fast reload right here. But one of the big things is to unload. We're going to go ahead and load this. We're at the range. Loading it in to unload this rifle. And with all the rounds in the magazine, you're going to have to rack it, rack it, rack it every time. There is definitely a safety issue when that's involved. To unload the Henry, undo your tube, bring the rounds out right in your hand. That's definitely much safer. Of course, this brass tube is just incredible. I mean, it is really beautiful, and it's really a nice accent to the rifle. Has a knurled end right here that's really nice. Now, let's say you're out of rounds and you need to reload really quickly. Open up the action, drop in a round, close it up, and you're ready to fire. It's even faster to single load these in than to load them into the gate and then rack this. But again, this is going to be definitely a matter of preference. I see the advantages of both, having the loading gate on the side, the tube on the front, but really this is a hunting rifle or a guide rifle, and I don't know how many times you're going to need to really reload fast after firing 6 rounds. While there are no external safeties on this rifle, like it is on the Marlin or the Winchester where you have a button to push, right here, as long as this lever is open, there is no way the trigger is going to be able to be accessed. In fact, if you'll notice, right here is a transfer bar that blocks the hammer. And when you bring down your lever, you can see it click and it disengages, and now it allows you to pull the trigger. What that's going to do is not only be a safety on your gun, but it's also going to keep from this area right here on your lever getting worn, and right here from butting up on the end of your rifle in the tank. So that's actually going to keep this even looking better. Also, there is a firing pin block here. So one of the things that makes it really nice is you can actually load a round in, bring the hammer down, and as long as you don't pull the trigger, there is a block in here to keep this from firing. Now, what that really does is if you do need to deploy this really quickly and you have a round in the chamber, you're not fishing around for a safety. But if you happen to drop the rifle, you don't have to worry about this actuating the firing pin. Now, the 30-30 round is actually 7.62 by 5.1, which is exactly like the standard 308. Of course, this isn't a different configuration, but it is rimmed. And so that's one of the things that makes it different. Of course, the pressures are a lot less on the 30-30. And we were shooting the 150 grain soft point. One of the things about the way the lever action is set up, and because of the tube, is you need a flat bullet. With the rounds in the tube, you don't want a point that could possibly set off your primer. That could be a catastrophic problem. So the round nose is typically what you use. Now, if you have some of the ballistic tips with the plastic ends that will not set off the primer, that does work. But really, traditionally, the flat nose is what's been used. With the ballistic tip, you're going to get a little bit better accuracy, and it's going to shoot just a little bit flatter. And speaking of ammunition, I want to thank my good friends at Federal Premium for supplying the ammunition for the review. And just an excellent quality ammunition as always. Now, to me, for those states that have a lot of restrictions on firearm ownership, especially semi-automatic rifles, the 30-30 makes a great option. I mean, with 5 or 6 in the magazine, the tubular magazine. It makes it really fast to reload. And that makes a really great home defense, property defense SHTF firearm. And of course, ammunition availability is really important with the 30-30. I mean, any sporting goods, Walmart, a lot of these places keep in stock a lot of 30-30 because these guns have been so popular for over 100 years. Now, Henry Arms also produces the octagon barrel with the 30-30. It does have the brass receiver with the octagon barrel. The stock itself is smooth instead of checkered. It's more in the traditional Western style. It does weigh a pound heavier. In fact, it's a little over 8 pounds compared to the 7 pounds of the standard black 30-30. And the price runs a little less on the blued model. The blue retail price is $850. I was seeing these in a number of sources online for around the $600 to $700 range, and you know how that goes. But I think you should really be able to get one of these for under $650, and that'll just put it about $100 or less above what you could get a Marlin or a Winchester. Now, Henry has a lifetime warranty on their rifles, and they have an excellent customer service. Okay, a couple of things that I really love about this rifle, and a couple of criticisms that I'll have. The first thing is, the quality of this rifle is just excellent. The other thing is the smoothness of the action. I mean, it's smooth. The wood is beautiful. It's just a very well-balanced, well-made piece made right here in America, which makes it really cool. But now, a couple of things that I would see that could be an issue is definitely price. Price is, about $100 more than your Winchester or your Marlin. And you may not want to spend the extra money for the quality you're getting. And I understand that. Budgets are what they are. I think really that you ought to save up and get the better option, but that may not be something that's doable. But now, one of the other issues, not necessarily for me, but I do understand not being able to load it from the side. That would be definitely something that a lot of people would really like to see. I do like the tube fed, and I think that, as I've talked about, I think this is a really excellent way to go, and it doesn't bother me at all. But it may be something that for you, you may want to have it on the side load. I think that really it's not going to be any quicker in the long run, and plus you're going to be able to unload this rifle faster and safer with this option. So, it has its give and takes, but that's really about the only things I can think about, because this rifle, it just really is nice quality. The Henry rifle is made right here in the USA, and it's one of the things that they say on every box, and if you go to their website, made in America or not made at all. And many of you might say, well, Winchester, Marlin, well, Winchester's made in Japan. Now, of course, the gun that won the West, but also the Marlin, which has been sold to Freedom Group. Honestly, the quality has gone down. The Marlin was actually my first centerfire rifle, and I have a very special affection to the Marlin. But that was the old style, and really, the quality of the Henry even far surpasses that. This is just a really fine quality rifle. So the Henry Arms 30-30, thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic.
A cowboy action shooter. Get you some of that. I could have done that.
Yeah, you were like going, get it!
Look at this. I'm shooting a single action Army revolver today. I'm shooting a lever action today. All I need is a double barrel side by side, and we can just turn the range right into a cowboy action match.
Woo!